Hey y'all, and welcome back to Graphic Content, the show where I make a merch design for one of my favorite wrestlers while telling you why they're one of my favorite wrestlers. And today, we are talking about none other than the very nice, very evil Danhausen, a guy that helped remind me that in the world of professional wrestling, one of the least important things is professional wrestling. And that's nothing against Danhausen as a pro wrestler. I mean, he worked for years on the scene before finally discovering that beautiful little demon inside of him that collected teeth, danced to tequila, and made sure there was no swearing to offend the TV censors. It's just that sometimes in professional wrestling, you don't even really need to step foot in a ring to be influential. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been a fan of Danhausen for years now, and I think the first time I saw him wrestle was literally like 2 years ago. I mean, at the end of the day, I'd much rather just watch him be Danhausen, doing Danhausen stuff. And for this week's design, I decided to dip into a tool that I never really use that often in Photoshop, Liquify, aka the tool that lets you just absolutely destroy someone's entire appearance. But I did have a goal in mind.
Oh my god. These eyes are... I can't look at this. No, this is looking quite bad.
What's so bad about it, guys? I don't know what the issue is.
His eyes are too big for the entirety of his head. The whole, like, it's
well,
not
that was
even, like,
that was my intent. I will at least say that. It means I am delivering on what I want.
Oh, so you're just admitting to being a bad person?
No, I'm wanting it to be. I'm wanting it to be very caricature-esque.
If a caricaturist did this to me, I should have the legal right to murder them on the street.
So I discovered Danhausen the same way that I'm sure a lot of people discovered him, when literally everyone on Wrestle Twitter decided to change their name to some variation on their usual username plus Hausen. For instance, we were Fight Boys Hausen, and it's through this collective memeing that we discovered him and gave him a follow, and luckily, he quickly became one of my favorite people in professional wrestling because he became one of my daughter's first favorite people in professional wrestling. I mean, I've said it before, literally, her first Halloween costume was Danhausen makeup, and as a 2-year-old, she didn't really care much about someone doing the perfect lockup or if they had a crisp headlock takeover. What she cared about was the goofy little demon man walking around the High Spots warehouse and punching mannequins in the groin. She didn't care about a 45-minute classic between Omega and Okada. She cared about watching Danhausen dance around and kick guys in the face. Danhausen was a reminder of something that I think a lot of wrestling fans lose sight of along our way. That professional wrestling is supposed to be fun. In addition, Danhausen basically became the poster boy for getting to see your dreams come true. A lot of us getting to live vicariously through him, as his very evil internet presence and demand for loads of monies and blimps led to him actually getting a job at Ring of Honor Wrestling. It led to him getting noticed by dudes like The Rock and John Cena Hausen, and ultimately led to him getting to guest on a podcast hosted by one of his biggest influences, Conan O'Brien. He's had his own line of coffee, gotten to guest on TV shows. He's done everything, all thanks to just being the weirdest little fucker he can, while simultaneously being unabashedly himself, paying tribute to all of his favorite things. From The Simpsons to vintage horror movies, collecting toys and comics, punk rock, all of Danhausen's influences get worn on his sleeve, and it attracts even more nerds who all love the same thing. It's what drew me to him for... Wait, no, don't look at that. Don't. You guys don't need to see all of this back behind me. Don't worry about... okay, so here's the deal. While designing this, my ADHD might have kicked in, and we went on a little bit of a tangent about wrestlers' ratings on WikiFeed. Just don't worry about it. I must get back to my art, but...
Scotty, this is your art.
No, it's not. You know what? Fine. It's Danhausen. Danhausen's on WikiFeed.
Let's go.
If there was ever evidence that your path doesn't have to be the same as everyone else's, It's Danhausen. In the world of professional wrestling, your dreams, your goals don't have to be to become the world champion or to main event WrestleMania, especially if that's not something you actually want. Sometimes your goal can just be to make as many monies as possible, steal a blimp from Tony Khan, and to have as much fun as you can. Becoming friends with guys you once idolized, giving opportunities to artists whose work you enjoy, and forcing CM Punk to buy you a copy of Amazing Fantasy number 15. Because to me, that sounds even better than holding a world title. So there it is, another episode of graphic content in the bag, and this time, I got a bit of a question for y'all, because I need your help, because I actually decided to mess around with the design a little bit more after we finished recording, and I ended up with another color scheme that's a lot more on brand for Danhausen. So which one do you prefer? The psychedelic purple and green, or the very nice, very evil red and white? Let me know in the comments below, and of course, check out that pinned comment for some of my favorite Danhausen stuff. And of course, also remember to follow us on Twitter at FightBoyShow so you can check out all of our design work and of course slide into those DMs because our commissions are open, just saying. And if you really want to support the channel, donate over at patreon.com/FightBoyShow and you can get to hang out live in our Discord while I actually create these designs, and you might even end up in a future video. So make sure to check that out, and of course, remember to subscribe to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, just do whatever our YouTube overlords want you to do this week, because after all, when you're a fight boy, you're a fight boy for life!